Hello everyone and welcome to the Deercast. We're joined again by good friend Matt from Grove Game Larder. Matt has done a video for us before on the Pulsar mergers. He's doing another one for us today, and it'll all become apparent why in a second. Because we have been sent a pair of Leica Geovid Pro 10x42 binoculars from Leica to give a test. I've had them for probably sort of 4 weeks now, I think, and sort of having a bit of a play with them. These have got a ballistic solver in them, a mapping software in them, and of course a rangefinder as well. So far I'm thoroughly impressed with them, but Matt and I have been out stalking together for the last couple of days, and what I thought would be really interesting is get Matt's opinion on them, because Matt has got the same pair of binoculars. It's almost a before and after for you there. And you've had these for
6 years, just over.
So,
more, yeah.
From my perspective, to bring to you guys as the viewers the perspective of someone who's had them for 6 years, I thought was, well, it's invaluable basically, because Matt can give us his honest opinion of, well, it doesn't look like they've fallen to pieces in 6 years, which is pretty good going. So yeah, Matt, yeah, how have you found them?
Well, they're Leica glass is just is sort of up there with the best. It is the best in many respects. So it's I don't think. I mean, when I actually got these initially, I was doing a lot of shooting down in Dorset, and I was using a 6.5 55 Swedish Mauser, which is not the quickest bullet. There's a bit of a rainbow sort of trajectory on it sometimes, and I had Seeker. It's all well and good to whack the first one, but when the group moves on and before you know it you're doing 200-250 meters, there's a bit of a loop on there. So I wanted to know what the bullet drop was, just so I could be more efficient and effective with shooting. So I got these because of the ballistic information in them, or the ballistic feature in it, so I could ping a target at range, and if it was still stood there, it would tell me how many clicks. I could just do a quick flick, a number of clicks, and take another shot. The light clarity is sort of goes without saying on them as well. So something which had both the quality of clarity at range and the BDC feature on it as well. It just seemed exactly what I was after, really. So that's why I went for them.
And in terms of ballistic solver, because my biggest fear when these turned up was, I was like, it all sounds great, but can you get it to work in terms of, can you upload your data into the app? Can you then get your data from the app onto these binoculars, and then does it work in the field? What I found is, so far, touch wood, it's been quite easy. So the ballistics kind of solver through the Leica app is powered by Applied Ballistics, and so far I've found it quite easy. But as I said, Matt's been using these for 6 years now. Admittedly, doesn't necessarily use the ballistic solver anymore, because you've moved away from the 6.5 by 55 to a Creedmoor. We won't judge him.
Creedmoor and proud.
Yeah. So you make, well, it's flat out to 1,000 meters, isn't it, Matt? So you don't need a solver anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it does it all for you. Pretty much. Yeah. But no, they're what were we saying?
So
we started slagging off Creedmoors.
Well, yeah, classic. In terms of the getting ballistics data like onto these and then getting reliable readings out of them.
It's piss. There's on the actual the booklet that comes with it, you can program. You can basically use it's either European or American in terms of meters or yards, and there's like a load of just like a table of common ballistic coefficients and velocities, bullet weights, and you literally go along X, up Y, or if that's what I don't know, that's the way around. Okay, straight flat. Yeah, and then plumb it in there. That's if you're using factory data, and that data will be on the back of the box. It's literally what's the furthest distance out that you've got on the box. Does it say 400 meters or 500 meters, whatever? Just find the velocity which matches that, and then try and tweak it. In reality, when I first got them, I was really hung up about, my God, I'm halfway between E and D. What does that mean? Is that going to wreck it? But if you think about it, it doesn't make any difference at all. It's the difference of half a centimeter at 100, like 200 meters or something. It's not. It's no problem. But no, it's really simple to set up. Or you can go one step further and actually program your ballistic data onto a little micro SD card and then slot that in there as well. Yeah. So it is very straightforward.
Now, these aren't a cheap bit of kit. The latest version's retail price is 2,800. When I looked literally just now with Matt, we could get these for 2.5 online. So they're not a cheap bit of kit, but for me, these arrived sort of just before the row rut, so sort of beginning of July, and so actually, well, and I suppose in some ways, I'll be brutally honest, I was slightly sceptical that 2.5 grand's worth of binoculars, I was really going to see much difference from my current pair of binoculars, but as you'd probably all expect me to say, I did notice a difference, not necessarily a kind of like day-to-day difference, but when you were looking at, say, the difference between a good buck and an excellent buck, and actually sort of picking up those finer details, that's where these really, I would say, came into their own in terms of getting that clarity, that finesse.
Yeah, the clarity is fantastic, especially at that last sort of 10 minutes of light is when you sort of really, that's when other binoculars are in great bright light, they are good, but in the last 10 minutes is when you sort of notice it. And going back to the LRF feature on it, I don't take particularly long shots where I can help it, so what these are actually quite handy for, more so even than you'll use a lot more commonly, or at least I found that I do, is if you see an animal which is, say, 300 meters away, when you're trying to plan your stalk, it's like, right, at what point will I be 100 meters away or 150? And it's finding a feature out there where it's like, well, so that tree there, ping, that is 100 meters from that buck. So if I can work out around this way, it's better than going over there, which is 200 meters from the buck or 220. So that's what it's something which is probably, I don't know what it is designed for, but it's very, very well. That's probably what I use more than the bullet, the BDC, because you shouldn't really go out with the intention of taking long shots, even though
you've got a Creedmoor now.
Even though I've got a Creedmoor.
I'll stop in a minute, I promise. I mean, the other thing I would say as well, which I guess is part of the reason behind the price tag, is they're just incredibly well designed. So I can't really describe it, and you might be able to say it better than me, but the way they're designed, with the way your kind of hands just naturally grip them, it's just comfortable. Whereas I've had other pairs of binoculars before where it almost feels like you're holding a random brick, like your hands don't kind of slot in around and mesh into it.
Ergonomic in how
that's the word.
Tactile.
Oh, there we go. This is why he's a pro.
That's why I should Creedmoor. So ergonomic, tactile, and the buttons are like intuitively placed as well. So when you're gripping it like this, it's really straightforward. I mean, I know it's only little things, but the focus adjustment and then range, the other button. What's the other button do again?
So the menu.
Oh, well, I've never used that.
Yeah.
You only need to set it once. Or does it tell you the temperature? Well, that sort of shit, I can't remember.
So one's the kind of main menu button.
The temperature.
Oh, there you go.
Or is that the incline? Yeah. That's the last time I used it.
But those kind of things, they sound trivial, but when you're out in the field, like, I don't know, when we were up at 4 o'clock this morning, to literally just grab these out of the pack when we saw a deer and just be like, right, and I knew exactly which button it was, because one button is indented and one is raised, so you just, your finger, as soon as it reaches it, you immediately know which one you've got to press, and it's just quick, easy, intuitive, and you can see where the money has gone on them in terms of the design. The
design's great.
And they just...
That's it. So the top button, that does your LRF and your... which will then, you ping it puts a little square on it, you ping it again with the same button, and it'll tell you distance and number of clicks to adjust. Just remember, the other one tells you the incline if you're interested, and the temperature if you're interested, and I think what feet above sea level you've programmed into it. Yeah. But to be honest with you, the BDC calculator, when it comes to your click adjustment, that will automatically calculate your the angle that you're shooting at as well. So you don't have to think about if you're going to go over the top of it or something.
They are a phenomenally capable bit of equipment, and I mean, as I said, I was impressed by them. But it's very easy when we're sent something and you sort of play with it for a couple of months.
I bought these.
Well, exactly. There you go. So like, you'd be brutally honest about them, but you've been sent them, been playing them for a few weeks, and you're sort of like, they seem good, they seem great. But actually, to have someone sat here who's like, I've used them for 6 years, I know these inside out, and you'd be able to turn around to us and go, yeah, well, actually, they do fall apart after 2 years, and I've kept sending them back to be repaired.
No, I've never actually put I might put one battery in it in 6 years. So and putting the battery is a doddle as well. And the only reason why it's got this tape on it is because they squeak otherwise in my bino. I mean, they are quite big. Don't get me wrong. They're probably one of the bigger sizes of binoculars, and they did sort of rub against the sides of my bino harness. So I put that bit of tape on there just to sort of solve that.
And I think they're wider because, unlike a lot of range-finding binoculars, you can probably just see here, rangefinding bit is there rather than actually being in one of these lenses, and so I think the bridge is possibly slightly wider, which makes the overall binoculars slightly wider than...
One thing I would point out as well, if I can have your
Yeah, yeah.
mate, is that the one thing that is it looks very nice. The this one here is on like it's almost clipped and stuck on, which is great. But mine, when you're sort of constantly going on and off your clothing, it's only got to snag a little bit, and then it bends like it's like a metal plate. So I've had to put these on there as well, just because they sort of snap off and get a bit sharp. When you've got soft Creedmoor hands and all that sort of stuff, they yeah.
We ought to do the Creedmoor justice, actually, thinking about it, and do a Creedmoor video as well. But
yeah,
I think we'll call this one quits before I beat Matt up too much about his Creedmoor, and just again say thank you to Matt for joining us on this video. If you've got any questions about these, let us know. If you're interested in buying a pair, we can put you in touch with your local retailer as well. They are a phenomenal company to deal with. I've been really impressed with them. And I'm actually going to try and persuade Leica to either not make me send these back or lose them somewhere. So yeah, that should tell you how much I think of them. But as per usual, thank you very much, guys. Please remember to comment, like and subscribe, and we'll hopefully see you on the next one. Creedmoor.